And you were a supporter of the Green New Deal?
Yes, I ran on that.
You co-sponsored it.
Yes.
You said, and I quote, "I 100% support a Green New Deal."
Yes, I ran on that when I had my first campaign in Congress. Yes.
Are you aware the Green New Deal bans fracking?
Congressman, if I could just say,
It's a yes or no.
I am aware of whatever the Green New Deal had at the time, however many years ago that I signed on to it.
It does, and I'll enter the Green New Deal in the 116th for the record. But are you aware that it also bans clean coal?
Thank you, Congressman.
So is that a yes?
I don't. Honestly, it's 2023,
You were a co-sponsor of the bill. Are you aware it bans clean coal?
Yes, I am aware of. I'd be happy to look it up and refresh my memory on the bill. I sponsored a lot of bills.
Read you the
I sponsored
resolution.
and co-sponsored a lot of bills when I was in Congress.
You also said you 100% support a Green New Deal. Are you aware also that the Green New Deal bans oil and gas leasing?
Thank you, Congressman.
Is that a yes?
If you're telling me and you're reading it from there, yes.
All right, so you would agree that the Green New Deal bans fracking, bans oil and gas leasing, and bans clean coal. Do you still support the Green New Deal?
Congressman, as the Secretary
It's a yes
of the
or no.
Interior,
Do you support it or not?
Well, I am a Secretary of the Interior now. I'm no longer a member of Congress.
So you do still support the Green New Deal, yes or no?
In my current capacity, I am not.
Would you still have co-sponsored the bill in the 116th had you know that it banned all this?
I'm not sure of the question. If I co-sponsored it when I was a member of Congress, I'm no longer.
Knowing all these points, would you have still co-sponsored the bill? It's a very simple question.
Thank you. I ran on the Green
Thank
New
you
Deal,
is your response? It's yes or no. Would you co-sponsor it or not?
I co-sponsored it, yes.
Okay, and you don't regret that?
No.
And you still stand by your statement that you 100% support the Green New Deal?
When I was a member of Congress, yes.
Okay. I'm glad for the record we've established that.
So, Madam Secretary, is it your policy that critical minerals should be sourced from countries that are stewards of the environment, like the U.S. and our allies, or sourced from Russia and China that don't share our same values?
Congressman, what I'll say is the President is committed
Pretty much a yes and no. It's your policy, Madam.
Our policy is to work to make sure we have the best.
I'll take that as a maybe. So are you aware that China produces more emissions than any other country on the planet?
I have probably read that somewhere.
Are you also aware that China produces 90% of the world's plastic from 4 rivers?
I will take that as.
You also are aware that China is the biggest offender on illegal fishing?
Thank you, Chair. Congressman.
Have you read the Department of Interior report on critical minerals dated December 17?
December 17th of 2021?
2017.
2017. I have not read that full report from 2017.
Are you aware that China controls by proxy production the supply chain of critical minerals that are critical to both the EV world and defense?
Thank you for that information.
Are you aware by multiple studies that in order to satisfy the present requirements of EV and critical minerals to defense, it would take an increase of 2,000% of mining for 20 years? Are you aware of that?
Thank you for the information, Congressman.
Are you also aware that northern Minnesota is home to those critical minerals that are necessary for EV and our Defense Department?
I think there are critical minerals across our country. Yes.
Did you, before you put a moratorium, did you identify and fast-track those sources of critical minerals that you just mentioned?
Are you talking about in Minnesota and the boundary waters?
You had mentioned that there's other places within the United States that also hold critical minerals that are required for the country. Did you identify those and have you fast-tracked the production or permitting
or identification? In Minnesota particularly?
Across our country.
Across
Can
our
you
country.
pick any place that you've identified for an alternative to critical minerals to fast track so we're not vulnerable to China and Russia for our very critical economy, both in defense and EV?
We are working currently on identifying those critical minerals. That is with the U.S. Geological Survey, and of course
But
we.
you would identify, and you would agree that not having the critical minerals identified and produced in this country would present a security problem and prevent us from moving ahead on multiple issues, and we're vulnerable to China for very critical components of our economy. Would you agree?
Congressman, I know that energy independence is a priority of President Biden.